Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Monks, do not think of evil, unwholesome thoughts, discursive thoughts, that is, discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, and discursive thoughts of cruelty. Why? Because they are not relevant, not beneficial for the fundamentals of the holy life. They are not heading to this enchantment, dispassion, cessation, true knowledge, enlightenment and Nibbana. Friends, this is an utterance of the Buddha from the connected discourses of the Buddha, Samyutta Nikaya. Today, this is a special retreat for all of us to understand discursive thoughts and to understand how discursive thoughts are to be abandoned. Therefore, the topic for this Dhamma talk is how to practice and abandon discursive thoughts. As it is clear to you now, there are three types of discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, discursive thoughts of cruelty. These are wrong thoughts. That is why they are called discursive thoughts. Thinking again and again, roaming again and again, thinking, discursive, going long way. When you think of this, you can think hours and hours on the same topic, same thing. That is why they are called discursive. Discursive thoughts are discursive thoughts pop up whenever we leave behind a course. They are underneath. When we have these discursive thoughts or underlying tendencies, in other words, they are called underlying tendencies. They underlie in the mind. Then whenever the similar situation arises with the support of external object, they pop up and they give us unnecessary problems, suffering. We then suffer. So the Buddha taught us, as long as you have these underlying tendencies, with the support of craving, you cannot stop this. Underlying tendencies are to be cut off. Craving is to be cut off, in other words. One day, while the Buddha was going from house to house begging together with Venerable Ananda, Buddha saw a sow. He saw a sow, is a pig. So is a pig, you know that. Feminine pig. Having seen this pig, so the Buddha smiled. Then Venerable Ananda asked, Bhante, why you smiled? The Buddha said, Ananda, this pig, this sow, in her previous lives, one of his previous lives, she was a hen. She was a hen in one of his previous lives. During that time, she was attentively listening to a sort of chanted by a teacher. That chanting was something referent to vipassana, insight. So the hen, attentively listened to that chanting. It is because of that she was born as a human, a princess. The princess herself, after that life, she was born as a princess and she had that insight. She wanted to practice. One day, while she was practicing repulsiveness, having seen some maggots in a cesspit, she developed her mind and she got the first jhana. As the result, after her death, she was born in Brahma world. Now she has come back to this world as a pig. Ananda, this is the nature of samsara. Where the Buddha said, Yathapi mule anupaddave dalhe chinnopi rukko punareva ruhati evampi tanhanusaye anuhate nibbattati dukkha midang punappunam. Yathapi mule anupaddave dalhe. Though the tree is cut down, if the roots are still remaining unhurt, the tree sprouts again and again. Likewise, even though we try to calm down ourselves, if we have simply subdued our thoughts, if there is underlying tendency, if there is craving, then again and again dukkha arises. That is the meaning. So it is because of underlying tendencies. It is because of these discursive thoughts. We have to understand these discursive thoughts. How these discursive thoughts arise. Venerable Mahakachayana said this clearly in the discourse of honey bowl. You might have read this discourse, honey bowl discourse, Madhu Pindika Sutta, where he said how these discursive thoughts arise. Chakkunchauso paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku vijnana. He said, friends, addressing his friends, the monks. He said, friends, when there is I, then when there are forms, I consciousness arises. Chakkunchauso paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku vijnana. When there is the I and the forms, then there arises consciousness. Tinnang sangati, these three come together. which is called phassa, contact. It is because of this contact feeling arises, he said. Feeling arises. Tinnang sangate passo phassa pacca vedana. Yang vedeti tang sanjanati. What one feels, that one perceive. This is the process. This is how these underlined, how these discursive thoughts arise. What one feels, that one perceive. Vedana yang vedeti tang sanjanati. Yang sanjanati tang vitakketi. Yang sanjanati. Whatever what one perceive. Yang sanjanati. Perceive, perception, recognize. Whenever you recognize something, either an animate thing or inanimate thing, then you start to think. That thinking is called vitakka. There you have three types of vitakka. Having seen the object, if it is a pleasurable thing, something to be enjoyed, then sensual desire arises. And that is what is called sensuality. Desire, discursive thoughts of sensuality arise. Sensuality to please the five senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue and body. Or when you see something not pleasurable, painful, something hurtsome, then you have displeasurable feeling. That is what is called discursive thoughts of ill will. Your will is ill there. Therefore, ill will. Or else, if you see the person who did something wrong to you, then whenever you see the person, you want to take revenge. Where you think to use a weapon, club or something, hit him or even kill him. That is what is called discursive thoughts of cruelty. Friends, these are the thoughts. These thoughts are the worst things, not the people. People are nice. Whenever these three types of discursive thoughts arise in us, we do all sort of bad deeds, evil, unwholesome things. That is why the Buddha said, monks, do not think these evil thoughts, evil, unwholesome. Since they are evil, they are unwholesome. So if we can curb this, if we can cut down these thoughts, we can be good ones. That is why the Buddha taught the Dhamma, Buddhism, to understand our own thoughts and calm down ourselves, to come to the state of peacefulness, keep a pacified mind, a calm person, then we do not do such evil things. But what happens when something happens like that? We have discursive thoughts. One day, Venerable Meghya was the one at a time Meghiya was the Buddha's attendant monk, like Venerable Anand. By that time he was the attendant monk, Venerable Meghiya. One day while he was going from house to house begging, he saw a pleasure garden next to the river Kimikala. Having seen this pleasure garden, he thought that, oh, this is a wonderful place. Why don't I come and practice meditation here? With that idea, he went back to the monastery and asked Buddha whether it is possible for him to go and practice meditation in that pleasure garden. Then the Buddha said, well, it's okay, though you are the only person to help me now. Better wait for another person. Better wait for some time. Then he waited, and again he asked whether he can go. Nobody came. Then Buddha again said, wait for a while for another person to come, because he was the only person to help the Buddha. Then third time he said, oh, the Buddha has done everything, now you have nothing to do, but I have to practice. I have to practice. Buddha has done everything, so Buddha has nothing to do. Like that, he sort of not happy, ill will. And then Buddha said, okay, you can go. He went to that pleasure garden and started to practice. What happened? Discursive thoughts of what? Sensual pleasure. Discursive thoughts of sensuality arose, hit him, and he was overwhelmed by these thoughts, because he was a prince in his previous life. That was his pleasure garden. So these discursive thoughts are not right now. All these are dead ones, old ones, past ones. Just like buffalo eat the cud things. Buffalo eats, it eats grass. Whenever he gets a chance, he eat that, and keep them all in a sort of pocket. Later on, he sits somewhere and then start to cud. That is called cudding. Start to chew this. Just like that, what we do, we do the same. Same thing. Something happened in the past. We take this, we grasp this, and then we think of it. That is discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts of sensuality, ill will, and cruelty. This is what happened. Then he couldn't practice. He went back to the monastery and told the story to the Buddha. Thereafter, Buddha gave a discourse and asked him to practice properly. That is how discursive thoughts of sensuality arise. Another monk named Sangharakita, his teacher asked him to fan him with the fan. The monks have their fan. He was asked to fan him. While he was fanning, he was not happy with his teacher, because he wanted to offer a robe to his teacher. He did not accept it. Now he thought that my teacher did not accept my robe. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to be the monk. I want to disrobe. He thought, I want to disrobe. Then the teacher asked him to fan him. Teacher was an enlightened one. So now he started to fan with the fan. Okay. So while he was fanning, he started to think. That is, discursive thoughts arose in him. Then he started to think. Thinking. That is called vitakka. Vitakka. He was thinking. What he is thinking? He thought that, no, I don't want to stay. I must disrobe. Then I must buy some goats. Later on I can buy some more, like I can buy cow. Then I can buy a cart. Then I'll get married, and after that when I have a son, I together with my wife and son, I will come to see the teacher. When I come with her, on the way, as we are coming on the cart, she might, because of her not caring the son properly, she might fall the son. Then I will hit her. I will hit her with the goat, with a stick. I will hit her, thinking that way he hit the monk with the fan. As he was fanning the monks, he thought, I will hit her, like I will hit her. He hit the monk. Then the monk said, oh, why you thinking that you were hitting your wife? You hit me, this old man. Why? Thinking, unnecessary thoughts. That is what happens. Even while you are sitting here, while you are listening to the Dhamma talk, some of you might think something else. Something else happened at home. Those are called discursive thoughts. We have to detect them. We have to understand them. That is how discursive thoughts of sensuality. Let's understand discursive thoughts of ill will. Your will is ill. Another monk. I give these short stories so that you can remember. Another monk, while practicing, he was not happy. Ill will towards the Buddha. Buddha has not explained these 10 unanswered questions. Why unanswered? Each and every question should be answered. Why unanswered? I should go to him and ask. So he was not happy with the Buddha. He went to meditate, but he started to think ill will thoughts. Then he went to the Buddha and asked, Bhante, you have not explained these 10 questions. What are the 10 questions? Like, the world is eternal. You have not explained whether it is eternal or not. So, world is not eternal. World is eternal or not? World is finite or infinite? The soul and body are the same or two different things. Whether the Arahants, the enlightened one, one is existing after death, not existing after death, neither exist nor exist after death, or neither non-exist or non-exist, like that. 10 unanswered questions. So these questions we have not explained. If he says, if Bhante does not know this, say that you do not know this, like that, because of ill will. We have to understand our own ill will. Cruelty. Next is cruelty thought. Once there was a lion sleeping under a jack tree. A dead branch fall upon the lion. The lion thought, this tree is not happy. Tree is against me. Tree is not happy as I am sleeping here. The tree is against me. Wait. That is cruelty. Wait. I will destroy this tree. That is how to destroy things. It is because of cruelty you want to destroy the person. So he went to the drum beater and said, he said to him, if you make a drum with the trunk of a jack tree, your drum will be a better one. The drum beaters. So he went to the drum beater and asked the drum beater to cut the tree and make a drum with that trunk of the jack tree. That is how he wanted to destroy the tree, because the lion can't do that. So the drum beater came and cut the tree. There was a deva on the top of the tree. That was the deva's abode. Deva understood what happened. Then Deva went to the drum beater and said, if you make a drum with the skin of a lion, then your drum will be the nice one, the better one. Make the drum with the skin of the lion. That is how they perished themselves. That is what happened to us also. If we have ill will thoughts and cruelty thoughts, that's exactly what happened to us also. Friends, this is why we have to understand these thoughts are evil thoughts, unwholesome thoughts. Therefore, we have to think in a proper way, not to harm myself, not to harm others, not to harm any. That is the way. That is the way to think as Buddhist, as cultured people, as civilized people. So these thoughts, when we have these thoughts, we make our thoughts our own. Means with craving, we cling to these thoughts and we leave behind these as causes. That's with the idea of mine, me, myself. Mine, me, myself. That is called manjana. Manjana. Whatever we keep as my own, that belongs to Mara. The Buddha said, whenever you have that concept of I, my, myself, you are bound to Mara. Then what happens? You leave behind the cause. As you leave behind the cause, then there are results. Results are to be reaped somewhere in the field of Mara. As I said yesterday, there are 31 fields. All these belong to Mara. So we will have to be born in these 31 realms. That is the sansaric journey. If we delight, the Buddha said, when we see the objects, we delight to grasp things. If we grasp things, there is craving. Grasping arises because of craving. Tanha pacha upadana. Because of craving, grasping arises. With that, we are wandering in samsara. Therefore, the Buddha's teaching is clear that Buddha wanted us not to grasp anything. Nacha kinchi loke upadiyati. Upadana means grasping. Buddha said in the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha said, Nacha kinchi loke upadiyati. In the whole world, there is nothing to cling to. Nothing to cling to in the world. Whenever, wherever we cling, we are in the grip of Mara. Mara can do anything, just like the hook of the fisherman. Fisherman's hook. The fisherman put the hook with the bait. The Mara is the fisherman. Mara used us. He put the bait and hook for us to eat, take it. Then we are in the grip of Mara. Verbally, physically and mentally we are caught. That is the way. So the Buddha wanted us to understand this Dhamma and cut off these thoughts, these different thoughts. Buddha said, one day a certain wanderer went to the Buddha named Vachagotta. When he went to the Buddha, he said, Bhante, the last week some people, the wise people got together in the debating hall where they talked about these different teachers in the city. By that time there were 7 great teachers in that particular city called Magadha. They talked about these wise teachers, great teachers. They all agreed that all other teachers, they accept and they declare whenever a person died, whenever as they can say that the person died and he or she was born in that particular realm, they can say that. And even they are so-called enlightened ones, referring to them also, the other teachers, they all say that that particular one was born in that particular place. That is how other teachers say. But they all talk about Bhante, about Gautama the Buddha. Gautama the Buddha does not say so. All other teachers talk about rebirth of their own enlightened ones even. They all say, this Bhante, Venerable the Buddha does not say such things. What the Buddha says is that they cut off their craving. They came to they destroyed defilements and they destroyed dukkha, like that. So they questioned this. So he said, Bhante, for me, I have doubt. Then the Buddha said, it's good that you have doubt. Right at the right time you have doubt. Vacha, the Buddha said, Vacha, sa upadanasa ko ahang vacha uppattim panyapemi no anupadanasa. Vacha, I talk about re-becoming, not rebirth. I talk about re-becoming to the person who has craving, who has attachment, upadana. Only the person who have attachment. That means those who have attachment are born again. If you have no attachment, You are not born again. That is the meaning. So what is to be cut off? Attachment. Attachment to anything. If you have little bit attachment, even little bit, you have dukkha. You know that what the Buddha taught to Visakha. Visakha, the chief benefactress of the Buddha. She went to the Buddha, and as she was approaching, the Buddha saw that she was all wet, her clothes wet, the hair wet hairs. She was different on the day. Buddha asked Visakha, why? What happened? Then she said, Bhante, my granddaughter passed away. This is how I feel. This is how we do normally. Then Buddha asked Visakha, do you like all the children in this city become your own grandsons and daughters? Then she says, yes, Bhante. Then he asked, how many children, how many people die a day? She said, like 10 persons, 12 persons, like that. Then he said, then Visakha, you have no day to be free from this wet cloth and wet hair, because people die every day. You have to cry every day. If you have 100 attachment, Buddha said, if you have 100 attachment, you have 100 suffering. If you have 90 attachment, you have to have 90 dukkha, 90 suffering. If you have 80, you have to suffer 80 times. If you have 70 times suffering, attachment, then you have to suffer 70 times. Like that, reducing this, Buddha said, if you have 10 attachment, you have to suffer 10 times. If you have 9 attachment, you have to suffer 9 times. If you have 8 attachment, you have to suffer 8 times. If you have 7 times, 6 times, 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. If you have no attachment, you do not want to suffer. That is how to understand. Grasping, attachment, upadana. If we have upadana, grasping, we think of this, and then we have to reap the results. These discursive thoughts are arising, they all come to the surface. If we have this, if we have kept this thought as a cause, how do we store these type of discursive thoughts in us? Whenever we see the object, we cling to that and bring it to inside. That is called upadana. Upa means inside, adana means drag it in and leave behind. In other words, it is called sankhara. Sankhara, abhisankhara. There are 3 types of abhisankhara. 3 types of volitional formations. These are volitional formations. Yesterday we talked about karma. That is what is called volitional formation. So when we do good deeds, we leave behind. We think of the good deeds, then leave it behind. It is there in our mind. It is in the aggregates of volitional formation. We do bad deeds and again we leave behind. Then if we practice jhana, we leave behind. So because of this, we have to reap the results. if we leave behind a cause, only then there is result. Buddhism is a causality. Buddha taught cause and effect. If there is no cause, no result, no effect. That is the teaching. So, when we see the object, if we grasp it, then it is ours. We leave behind it as a cause. So now, these thoughts, these discursive thoughts, the Buddha gave a discourse named Khira Rukkopama Sutta. Khira Rukkopama means simile of the sap tree. Sap, milk. Khira means milk. You know, there are certain trees in which there are sap. There are different trees. Milky stuff come out whenever you cut it. Whenever you hurt the tree, like what? Like jack tree. Such trees, they have sap. Buddha said, suppose monks, somebody would cut 6 different places of the tree. Then what happens? The sap come out. Just like that, whenever we have some certain things which is similar to what we have left behind, then it pop-ups. For instance, suppose you see the person who did something wrong to you, then your ill will pop-ups. If you see a person who is pleasant, who is beautiful, a pretty one, then pop-up with the sensual pleasures. Thought of sensuality and ill will, cruelty, the same. It is because you have left behind. Now the Buddha said, suppose monks, if there is no sap in the tree, what happens? You cut the tree, but no sap to come out. Just like that. If we have no discursive thoughts, if we have not left behind anything as causes, then nothing to come out. I will give you another simile. Suppose there is a pond with 5 doors, gates to water to come in. It's a pond with 5 gates, 5 doors to which the water come in. One person wants to stop this. He closed all the 5 doors. Now, no water come in through these doors. Just like that, this is the pond. I am the pond, you are the pond. You have to close your doors through which no water of discursive thoughts come in. Through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue and body. No such thing come in. But still, there are things inside. In the pond, though you close the doors of the pond, there is some more water. You have to pump it out. You have to pump out this water which is inside. Once you empty the pond, it is empty. No more water inside. That is what we have to do. By practicing this discursive thoughts, we have to understand discursive thoughts and we should stop this. whenever they pop up, we have to stop it, stop the discursive thoughts. That is what I told you to do this morning. Whether it is sensual desire, ill will, or cruelty, to understand and stop. That is how you close the door of the pond. Once you close the doors, still there are some sort of things we left behind. They themselves pop up at the time when something is happening outside, as then with the support of external object, they pop up. Then you can cut off that also. In such a way, this boat or this pond can be emptied. Buddha said, empty this boat, then you can easily sail. That is how we have to understand. To understand this, first we have to understand unwholesome thoughts. Unwholesome thought means discursive thoughts. Those are unwholesome. Then these are to be switched to wholesome thought. That is what is called right thoughts in the Noble Eightfold Path. You see, in order to come to Noble Eightfold Path, you have to understand right path, wrong path, where we find this discursive thoughts, cruelty, ill will thoughts, and cruelty thoughts. With that understanding, we come to right path, Noble Eightfold Path. Friends, that Noble Eightfold Path itself is not leading to the attainment of enlightenment. That path is the path, so it is called good one. But sasava punyabhagya upadi vepakka. In that path, when you come to good thoughts lead to right things, but not to the attainment of enlightenment, not to cut off defilement. It's good. That is what is called good. That is what is called merit. Sasava, that is with taints. As long as we have taints, we are not enlightened. All taints are to be cut off. Asava, all taints are to be cut off. Sasava punyabhagya, which is pertaining to merit. This path, the Noble Eight path is the path to do merit. That is not to attain enlightenment. That is what I said, that one has to cut off merit and demerit both. So, merit making path is the Eightfold Path. You have to go to another step. That is what is called Noble Eightfold Path, where the thoughts are not simply good thoughts. Thoughts are wholesome, but the noble one's thought. The noble one's thoughts are the thoughts heading to understand the Four Noble Truths. In order to understand that, one has to come to the second level with the support of right mindfulness, right effort, and right understanding. Then we can come to right speech, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, and right knowledge, and right liberation. then the path becomes a tenfold path, not the eightfold path. The path becomes tenfold path, means one can attain full enlightenment. One can become the taintless one, the Arahant. That is the way. In order to understand this, we have to practice. We have to understand our own thoughts. Buddha's teaching is not to mold, not to make this body, tame this body, but to tame our mind. Once the Buddha said in a particular discourse named taming nivitta, he pointed out, said, monks, in this society there are 4 types of persons. One type, physically they are tamed, but not mentally. That is the first kind. There are people mentally tamed, not physically tamed. There are people not tamed physically and mentally both. There are some, they are tamed physically and mentally. Those are 4 groups. I will explain this. You see, there are some people, they go to woods, they go to forest to practice. Physically, he or she is in the forest, tame, they have tame body. You see, he is in the forest, he is practicing nicely, bodily. But mentally, he might not be there. His mind is at home, in the city. So, physically he is tamed, but not mentally. There are some such people in this society. Secondly, the Buddha said, there are some people in this society, they are mentally tamed, but not physically. Some of us in the society, in the city, you are living in the city, you are physically you are not tamed, you have to do many stuff, you are so busy, but you have good thoughts, you have generosity, you are practicing generosity, you have good thoughts, different like you have compassion, kindness, good thoughts. So you are living in society. You are physically you are not tame, but mentally you are tame. There are some such persons in this society. Then there are some more. The third group, they are neither physically nor mentally tamed. In society there are such people, neither physically nor mentally tamed. And there is still another group, they are both mentally and physically tamed one. That group, we expect that group. As good persons, we need such persons in society. Those who are mentally and physically tamed ones. Tame in body is not that important. Tame in mind is the most important thing. Whole teaching of the Buddha is to tame this mind, tame the bull, tame in the bull. Bull is the mind. This bull is to be tamed by each and every wise person, individually. Though we practice together, individually the bull is to be tamed, mind is to be tamed. So friends, this is the purpose of this Dhamma. So whatever we are doing, if you are mindful, you can practice this meditation. Not necessarily to sit on a cushion. while you are on the bus, on the train, or in the kitchen, house, wherever, office, wherever you are, these discursive thoughts pop up. Understand right there. Even not necessary to close your eyes. You don't want to close your eyes. Open eyes. While you open your eyes, whatever you are doing, these discursive thoughts pop up. Then understand it as a discursive thought, where the Buddha said, then use the perception of abandonment, pahana sanya. In the Girimananda Sutta, the Buddha said, pahana sanya. Apply that. Pahana sanya. Think that this is not relevant. Whenever such thoughts arises, think this is not relevant to me. If it is not relevant, stop it. Do not welcome. Nadivaseti, Buddha said, Nadivaseti, stop. Do not welcome. Then let it go. Destroy. Totally cut off. Exterminate. Vaporize it. That thought. And then be happy. Once you vaporize it, once you completely, entirely exterminate it, you can be happy. Smile then. That's the practice. In the Dveda Vitakka Sutta, Dveda Vitakka means two kinds of thoughts in the Majjhima Nikaya, where the Buddha said, monks, even before my attainment of enlightenment, as an unenlightened person, I divided my thoughts into two, good thoughts and bad thoughts. Good section, there are wholesome thoughts, good thoughts, thoughts of renunciation, thoughts of non-ill will, thoughts of non-cruelty. The bad thoughts, discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, discursive thoughts of cruelty. So I divided this into two. And whenever such bad thoughts, discursive thoughts arose in me, I thought, this is not for my benefit. It is not beneficial. This is not for the benefit of others. This is something harmful to me. This is a cause for the deterioration of my wisdom. This leads me away from Nibbana. In such a way, he thought in this manner, and he applied Dhamma, and the Buddha taught us to apply the same thing. Whenever such thoughts arise, now you see, this morning even I told you to practice, do not welcome, let it go and destroy it. Now we have another method from the Dveda Vitakka Sutta. Whenever such thoughts arise, understand this is not for my own beneficial, not for my own benefit, not for the beneficial of others. Others means your own people, like your mom, your dad, your son, daughter, the family members. Understand that. And then understand that this is for my own destruction, ruinage, my own ruinage. This is a cause for the deterioration of my wisdom. Wisdom wanes because of this. Such thought. My wisdom wanes, which leads me away from Nibbana, not to the Nibbana, but away from Nibbana. They are both cut off. Friends, in this manner, let's understand this Dhamma and practice so that we can understand this technique of meditation. This is what the Buddha said. This is what the Buddha said in the Discourses. Let's practice this, and we can live happily, peacefully here in this world and realize the Dhamma, realize Nibbana here in this very world. Ditteva Dhamme. Ditteva Dhamma means here in this world we don't want to go anywhere else to attain Nibbana. Nowhere else. Buddha said here you have to attain Nibbana, realize real peace here in this very world. Let's practice this Dhamma, and by the power of this Dhamma, by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may all our efforts be successful. May we all realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.